Let's start. Topic is The Last Lesson, written by Alphonse Daoud. Alphonse Daoud was a French novelist and short story writer. This lesson is set in the days of France-Prussian War. France was ruled by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. The Prussians defeated the French, and the districts of Alsace and Lorraine fell into the hands of Prussians. The oppressors not only wanted the territory but dominated over the language and culture of the Germans, thus to take away their identity. So, how the lesson starts: the German take over the French not only from their cultures and also the language. See in the textbook. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of a scolding, especially because Mr. M. Hamel he had said that he would question us on participle, but I did not know the first word about them. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm, so bright, the birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting than the rule for participles, but I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. Here the story narrated by Franz. See, the little Franz had to attend French class of Mr. Hamel. He had taught participle in French. He had told the student that he would ask questions from the participle on that day. Franz was little boy, was very late and also afraid of scolding because he didn't even know from the start of participle. He just had to go school. When he was going, he was enjoy the sceneries in his way on his way, birds chirping sound. There was also sawmill. There were Prussian soldiers were drilling. So all these sounds and images is more lively than the participles to Franz. But he had to take strength to sit in the class. He ran fast to the school. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. The lost battles, the draft, the order of the commanding officer, and I thought to myself, without stopping, what can be the matter now? Then I hurried by as fast as I could go. The blacksmith, Watcher, who was there with his apprentice, reading the bulletin, called after me. Don't go so fast, Bob. You'll get to your school in plenty of time. I thought he was making fun of me and reached M. Hamel's little garden all out of breath. See, when he crossed the main hall at the school, he witnessed to see there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. According to Franz, he thought all the bad news he knew all the bad news from there. It comes from that board only, bulletin board only. Bad news in the sense any notification, lost battles, and order from the commanding officers. All the news they will put up on the bulletin board. But when he passed the bulletin board, he thought to himself, what could be the matter then? When he hurried so fast, there was a blacksmith, Watcher, who is his apprentice, reading that bulletin board and said him not to go so fast. He can get the school anytime. See, this is a kind of mock that he is going to school very late. After this encounter, he went to his garden. His garden means there is a garden was which is looked after by French master Mr. Hamel. Usually, when school began, there was a great bustle which could be heard out in the street. The opening and closing of desks, lesson repeated in unison, very loud, with our hands over our ears to understand better, and the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotion to get on my desk without being seen, but of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Through the window, I saw my classmates already in their places, and M. Hamel, Mr. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. But nothing happened. M. Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." When he get to school every day, he watched and faced many kinds of disturbances like noise at the street, in the school opening and closing of desks, reciting the words and that have taught before classes. They used to keep their hands over their ears and teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. But on the day, everywhere is silenced. To himself, he was actually wondered and watching everything on his way. The day that day looks like a Sunday morning. Sunday is a rest for everybody. He saw his friend already seated. He was looking through the windows. Mr. Hamel walking up and down kept his ruler under his arm. He was the one who was very late. Little Franz was the one who's very late. He had to pass before everybody, so he was blushed and frightened. When he just about to enter, Mr. Hamel kindly told him to take his place. He already started the class without his attendance. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. But the thing that surprised me most was to see, on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. Old Hazar, with his three cornered hat, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several others besides. Everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer thumped at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. When he just about to enter, Mr. Hamel said, "Just go," and finally he was not get over from his shock. Mr. Hamel appearance was its wonder again. His beautiful coat, green coat, frilled shirt, and black silk cap, all embroidered. He will come his this attire on only inspection and prize days. What will be the reason behind it? He don't understand anything. But there is more surprises. Backbenches always empty, but the benches are filled with village people. Old Azor with his hat, former mayor, former postmaster, and several others were sitting inside the French class. Old Azor opened his book with his big spectacle. While I was wondering about it all, Mr. Hamel mounted his chair and, in the same grave and gentle tone which he had used to me, said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive." When Franz was thinking about it all, Mr. Hamel sat and started speaking his grave and gentle tone. "The matter is that was the last lesson, because the order from Berlin is to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. So new German master will come next day. He wanted to give his stuff. He wanted the class very attentive. See what a thunderclap these words were to me. Those words were really thunderclap to the little Franz. Oh, the wretches! That was what they had put up at the town hall. My last French lesson. Why, I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn any more. I must stop there. Then, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking bird's egg or going sliding on the Saar. My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar, and my history of the saints, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. And Mr. Hamel too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. After that, he realizes about the bulletin board, that crowd who was reading the message. Franz started regretting not to learn anything in French. He even thinking to carry the books is so heavy, his grammar, his history of the saints. He forget all other issues but except his French teacher. He was very strange. His words made him forget all the troubling issues. He was very free to wander the river and seeking birds' eggs. He thinking about himself, what he will do because he didn't learn anything from their own mother tongue. Mother tongue is not occurred by teaching, it actually comes from our blood. But here, somebody is teaching. But even though students are not able to learn properly, particularly our little France, he just hate to learn French, even though he's belong to France. Poor man. It was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes, and now I understood why the old man of the village was sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry too that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. Franz had pity on him. He finally understood why there were village people inside the classroom. They came there to thank him for his 40 years service in the village. Village people also felt sorry because he is retiring now and they won't learn anything in the French. He served almost very faithfully for the 40 years. So they wanted to respect his service and thank him for that service. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. It was my turn to recite. What would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rule for the participle all through? Very loud and clear and without one mistake. But I got mixed up on the first words and stood there, holding onto my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. I heard Mr. Hamel say to me, I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, bah, I have plenty of time. I learned it tomorrow. And now you see where we have come out. Ha, that's a great trouble with Alsace. She put off learning till tomorrow. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how it is. You pretend to be Frenchman and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language. But you're not the worst, poor little Franz. We have all a great deal to reproach ourselves with. See, after thinking all this, he called to recite the rules of participle. Franz called to recite rules of participles. He had to tell them loudly and without one mistake, without even a mistake. But as we know, he didn't learn anything. He stood and stopped from the beginning. He ashamed, holding his desk, not able to recite and not able to look up his teacher too. But Mr. Hamel consoled him by saying soft words that he would not scold him. He must be, little Franz must be feel very bad because every day they used to say that they will learn it tomorrow, but the village, the Alsace put off learning tomorrow. How can they say even the Frenchman but not able to write them nor speaker neither write? But that was not the mistake of the student alone. The teacher also take responsibility of it. Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at the mills so as to have the little more money. And I have been to blame also. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you holiday? Hamel told him that his parents won't feel bad because if he is not studying, eventually he will be put to work on a farm or at the mills so that they will have extra money to run the family. But also he blamed himself. French master also blamed himself that he would often send his student to water the flowers. If he wanted to go fishing, he gave the holidays to the student. Here you can understand that he was not very strict. Instead of, he is very easy taking man. Then from one thing to another, Mr. Hamel went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logic, that we must guard it among us and never forget it, because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. Then he opened a grammar and read as a lesson. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. All he said seemed so easy, so easy. I think too that I had never listened so carefully and that he had never explained everything with so much patience. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away and to put it all into our heads at one stroke. Our little Franz never understood him before. He will become more patient after he started speaking about the French language. French language was the most beautiful language in the world and clearest, most logic. They must guard it, they must protect it. As long as they hold it, it will never destroyed. Once know their native language, their mother tongue, that will be the key to their prison. After that, started teaching grammar. He understood it. Our little Franz understood it very well. He had never spent his time carefully to understand the lessons. Mr. Hemal also too, he is also never explained so well, so that the day was so easy to everybody. It was just as that Hemal wanted to give his stuff before he is going away the last day, put all their heads about his character and about his teachings. He just make clear understanding to them. He stood tall on the going. Hemal tried to give all his stuff before he move away to the place. After the grammar, we had lesson in writing. That day, Mr. Hamel had new copies for us, written in a beautiful round hand. France, Alsace, France, Alsace. They looked like little flags floating everywhere in the school room, hung from the rod at the top of our desk. You ought to have seen how everyone set to work and how quiet it was. The only sound was scratching of the pens over the paper. Once some beetles flew in, but nobody paid any attention to them, not even even the littlest ones, who worked right on tracing their fish hooks, as if that was a French too. On the roof of the pigeons cooed very low, and I thought to myself, will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? After the grammar lesson they had given writing practice, Mr. Hamel brought some handwriting worksheet to practice. That worksheet was designed like a little flag floating everywhere. That was hung from the rod at the top of their desks. That day was quite very silently gone, and it was very silent. Everybody stick to work. The only sound was heard, the sound of pen, the sound of writing. Other than that, they didn't even paid attention to the beetles who flew inside the classroom. No one is paying attention. Even the outside, even the window fish hook, somebody is fitting that. Even the pigeons cooed very low on their roof. He thought himself, will the Germans make them sing in a German, even the pigeons? Why the place always so silence? Is that any symbolic to tell them? If the French master's gone away, other than won't speak about in French, that is the symbol here. Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw Mr. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first to one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. Fancy, for 40 years he had been there in the same place, with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him, just like that. Only the desks and benches had been worn smooth. The walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hopvine that he had planted himself twined about the windows to the roof. How it must have broken his heart to leave it all, poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the room above packing their trunks, for they must leave the country next day. Whenever little Franz finished his writing, he saw Mr. Hamel sit quietly in his chair. One by one, he's looking everything. Mr. Hamel looking everything. Mr. Hamel wanted to fix his mind, because it will be very hard to leave everything he had experienced in the school. His garden, walnut trees that he had planted, hopvine tree that he had planted himself, twined window to the roof, all those things, all those matters must have broken his heart to leave it all. He heard his sister, Mr. Hamel heard his sister voice that she packed everything, she packed their trunks, they must leave the country next day. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their ba bi bi bo bow. Down there Down there at the back of the room, Holdhauser had put on his spectacles and, holding his primer in both hands, spelled the letters with them. You could see that he too was crying. His voice trembled with emotion, and it was so funny to hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. Ha! How well I remember it. That was last lesson. But Mr. Hamel, courage to hear the every lesson, the very last every lesson in French. After all, his last class, they learned history and babies chanted babies' words back of the room. The old Azar wore his spectacle and held his primer in both hands and spelled to the letters in French. He became emotional, and the old Azar and the students and the Hamel all are became more emotional. Just was crying. His voice trembled with emotions. That was so funny to cry, but they wanted him to make him laugh. So that will be witnessed the last lesson by the little Franz. All at once the church clock struck 12. Then the Angelus at the same moment, and the trumpets of the Prussians returning from their drill sounded under our windows. Mr. Hamel stood up very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. See, at once they had heard Angelus. It is the Roman Catholic devotion commemorating in the coronation of Jesus and including the Hail Mary, said at morning, noon, and sunset. It will be just like it will indicate the time. But the window, the Prussian soldiers finished their work, finished their drilling with the trumpets. It is a symbolic that it was the time to send him off. He stood very pale. Franz saw him never. The master looked so tall in the classroom. My friends, said he, but something choked him. He could not go on. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could, Vive la France. Finally, he started speaking, but he couldn't utter a word. Something choked him. He could not continue his speech. Then he turned to the blackboard. He mustered all his courage, might, but could write only Vive la France on the board. Vive la France means long live France country. Long live French language, France country. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed, you may go. After writing it, he gestured that the school dismissed, you may go. Vive la France means the long live. He didn't have any word to express last time. So just he got very emotional. So he made some kind of gesture to go. The class is dismissed. Here we can understand that master that was clearly shown. The teacher felt very hard to leave all his good memory and associated in the school. How he was even in his service also very clearly shown that village people, you can understand why the people are there, because of his service only the people gathered there to thank him for the 40 years service. You will read the lesson once again and will finish the assignment.